Intamin is a company that's known for taking a lot of chances. On top of making some of the best rides out there, they also have the largest portfolio of any ride manufacturer. Their coasters are purely amazing and they get better with each new development. For over the past couple of years, the company as a whole was focusing on producing a large variety of rides, perfecting their craft with each product that they deliver. However, within the past couple of years, something very strange has happened. Intamin's official website shows a large variety of different coaster types, but strangely enough, one coaster type is getting built far more often than others, and that is their launch coaster. In 2019, Intamin built 7 new coasters, and out of all those, 6 of them were launch coasters, and the same thing is happening in 2021, with them adding another 6 launch coasters. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing on the significance of this, as well as answering the question of why Intamin could be doing this, and I will also tell you why I think this could impact the coaster industry for good. So join me as I discuss how Intamin's launch coasters are changing the coaster industry and talk about Intamin's possible new game plan and strategy. But like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I post brand new videos just like this every week, and I really appreciate all of the wonderful support that this channel has been getting. But now let's get to the video. So before we answer the question of how this will impact the coaster industry and discover Intamin's new strategy, we need to answer the question of why. Why is Intamin producing more and more launch coasters than ever before? In order to answer this question, we need to look at some of Intamin's brand new coaster concepts. The concepts I'm talking about were released earlier this year and tell us a lot about Intamin's new game plan. Now I know a lot of you are already going to be super familiar with these ride concepts, but please bear with me because I'm going to be looking at them in a whole new way. The first concept that they released was the Hot Racer. The Hot Racer is Intamin's take on an RMC Raptor single rail coaster, but it has a twist. Unlike the Raptors, it will incorporate a launch. The first one of these coasters is actually opening up next year in Luna Park, Australia. The next ride that they announced is called the Ultra Splash, and basically this is a direct copy of Max Power Splash. There isn't much to it except for the only difference is that it's on Intamin's version of a single rail track. And the last concept we're going to be talking about is a coaster they're calling the Vertical LSM. This is basically a Skyrocket 2 type attraction with an added bonus of having the world's first upside down launch. So why am I telling you this, and what do these 3 launch coasters have to do with anything? Well, believe it or not, I think they tell us everything about Intamin's new game plan. Let me explain. You see, Intamin could have just created a knockoff of an RMC Raptor, but the thing is, they didn't. Instead, they made their own version different enough to set itself apart from the RMC version. If you look at the layout of the Hot Racer and compare it to the RMC Raptors, you'll notice that the layouts are nothing alike. And I think this is because Intamin is taking chances. They aren't just using the tried and true successful method of an RMC style layout, instead they think that they can create their own better layout by producing an Intamin style one. When this concept first came out, a lot of people said that Intamin was knocking off RMC, but they aren't. A true knockoff would have been an exact clone with much more similarities to a Raptor. And the same can be said about the Vertical LSM. Intamin could have made the Vertical LSM much closer to a Skyrocket 2. Instead, they added the twist of the world's first upside down launch. It seems like Intamin has perfected their launches so much that they're confident enough to put them on coasters that wouldn't necessarily feature one like a single rail coaster or even on an upside down portion of track. It almost seems like Intamin is attempting to improve other manufacturers' ideas and therefore take some of their business. For example, before the Hot Racer, if Universal Orlando wanted to add a single rail coaster, they would only have one option, and that is RMC. But now that Intamin is in the single rail game, Universal could theoretically work with a manufacturer that they already have a great relationship with. Now, if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you may remember that I talked about this theory a little bit in a previous video called Why is Intamin knocking off other companies? But it turns out that in that video I only scratched the surface of a much bigger concept. And that is a concept that I jokingly call Intamin's complete takeover. And this is a theory that I have for where every successful coaster model out there, Intamin would attempt to create their own version in order to increase the size of their portfolio and become the best coaster company. Intamin saw huge market potential for their single rail coaster, so they jumped at the chance and tried to make their own. Now I have to be honest with you, I was super skeptical that the Hot Racer would even get any sales at all. I've seen Intamin try this in the past and fail, such as their quote-unquote new Zaxspin, but now that a Hot Racer is confirmed, it proves that Intamin's strategy is working. Because Intamin is such a huge company compared to RMC, they can deliver products where RMC couldn't, hence Australia. I think the Hot Racer Vertical LSM and Ultra Splash are all test runs for Intamin. If they are successful, Intamin could have unlocked the ultimate formula for success. And this is taking an already great ride, adding a launch to it, and attempting to improve it. One thing that is often overlooked in the coaster community is the restraints. I've never ridden an RMC Raptor, but I highly doubt that the restraints are even comparable to Intamin's new ultra minimal Terran restraints that are being featured on every new coaster. I don't know for sure how good they are, but these new restraints are supposed to be the pinnacle of coaster restraints, only second to the B&M clamshell. So Intamin can already improve any aspect of any coaster simply by adding the Intamin lap bar system. This is yet again another reason why the Intamin version of coasters could potentially become more popular than their predecessors. The second thing we can gather about Intamin's new game plan is the countless launches on coasters. Before recently, Intamin was a coaster company that had a launch coaster, but now it seems like all of Intamin's coasters have the potential to feature a launch. They've put launches on family coasters, thrill coasters, mega coasters, spinning coasters, blitz coasters, inverted coasters, shuttle coasters, and so much more. Intamin is honestly really perfecting their launches, and it will definitely give dedicated launch coaster companies like Premier a run for their money. Intamin sees the high demand for launch coasters, and they are capitalizing on this demand. They also see it as an effective way to save on space. The Luna Park Hot Racer would probably not have been able to be built if they had to figure out where to include a lift hill. Having such a launch saved so much money that the park could use for other rides, which they did. This is another pro over the RMC version, so this means that Intamin is not just perfecting their launches, but they are also using them to their advantage when they are able to. So now that we talked a little more about what Intamin is currently up to, that only leaves one question. What type of innovations will Intamin come up with next? And you're in luck because I've put together some guesses on what new coaster types Intamin will start manufacturing. And just to be clear, this is all speculation, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if some of these became a reality. The first concept that I think Intamin is going to come out with is perfecting their inverted launch coaster. Recently, Intamin opened Dueling Dragons, which features so many different elements packed into one ride. It is an inverted coaster that has a backward section that duels another train with only a lap bar. To me, this is a recipe for success. I think that Intamin is going to perfect their launched inverted coaster, and it will be very well received. As of now, I'm pretty sure Intamin is the only company to put launches on inverts, thus this will make the ride more popular to parkgoers. The next possible innovation is making some type of next generation spinning coaster with a launch. This past year, Intamin introduced OBJECTIF Mars, which to my knowledge is Intamin's first launched spinning coaster. Spinning coasters are becoming more and more popular, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Intamin tried their hand at the extreme spinner in the future. Like I mentioned earlier, this would provide companies that have a great relationship with Intamin an alternate to Mack and Vekoma. The next possible innovation that I see happening is Intamin focusing more on compact designs such as the vertical LSM and Sandy's Blasting Bronco. Focusing more on these compact designs give Intamin a better chance of working with chains like Six Flags, who does not have a big budget. I could see countless iterations of the vertical LSM/Skyrocket 2 model, with Intamin creating many different unique attractions. And my final prediction is that Intamin is going to eventually manufacture more Giga Coasters and Hyper Coasters. Intamin recently has been perfecting their game, and I think it's only a matter of time before a park probably overseas decides to add a massive attraction. But who knows, maybe if this is successful, maybe the USA or Europe will get one as well. So to conclude, Intamin is killing it at creating new attractions. They perfected their coasters enough to almost take the crown as the king of launch coasters. With coasters like Pantheon, Velocicoaster, and the different Wallaby projects, it's safe to say that Intamin as a company is flourishing. Concepts that were once thought as a pipe dream suddenly don't seem that far off anymore. I'm talking about coasters over 500 feet, the polar coaster, and even coasters faster than 150 miles per hour. Because who knows, if a park is willing to pay, Intamin is definitely crazy enough to do it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see content just like this every week. And comment below your thoughts on Intamin's possible new innovations. What type of rides do you think they will come out with next? This is the Coaster Josh, signing out.